So did anybody notice how Megabee's pet dog went from like rookie to mega level? Oh, just me? Yeah. Megabee's a special grade. Hear me out. We back for the last and final time. Been a long ride, y'all, but before we get into it, I only started reviewing Jujutsu Kaisen about a year ago, and I mean, I've been consistent putting out chapter reviews each week, but long story short, it's been a pretty intense year, you know, new country, new start, new state, and there's a lot of things out of my control, so things have been put on the back burner, especially with YouTube. So I mean, I'm still putting reviews out, but things are just a little slower. So I do want to appreciate everybody who's liked, who's subscribed, who's commented, even those of y'all who've disliked my videos. I appreciate y'all too, I guess. No scams for y'all to join the channel today, so hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join the notification gang. There'll be no more Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reviews, but I did hear that Kagurabaki's actually a nice manga and whatnot, so I do plan on checking it out, and I do plan to do weekly reviews on that, so that will actually replace that, well, instead of the Jujutsu Kaisen reviews. In regards to certain time slots, let me get my life together, and we gonna talk about that later. Probably not. So despite Sukuna's previous convictions, Yuji actually saved this man with love. Let's get into it. Now, right off the bat, the ending was garbage. I was not happy the way this actually ended. There were certain plots that were just unaddressed. It just felt like a Disney ending. I mean, it is a shonen anime, but I wasn't happy with it. So I'll probably give the ending maybe like a 4, like a 5, but like the story's nice. So I'll definitely say watch it for the story, but I don't know what's up with all these new gen animes or new gen mangas. The stories are so nice. Like they clean, like they really like that. But like when it comes to the ending, like, man, y'all just be dropping the ball. Like, come on. And I mean, it's a massive ask asking for a sequel, but there's no sequel to even wrap up storylines either. Now that I'm as like invested in reviewing manga and I look at things in a more critical, analytical perspective, I'm even more upset. Before I'd kind of just let it go, but nah, I'm upset now, man. That messed me up, man. I'm not doing this review no more. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not going anywhere. At the end, it makes sense in terms of wrapping up character arcs. I get it, but the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen's low-key just giving me, yeah, you know, Luffy found the One Piece and he finally discovered that the One Piece was actually the journey along with his friends. All in his heart. The end. Oda, I promise you, if One Piece ends in that capacity, I'm crashing out. I'm actually crashing out. Like, I'ma literally do a whole hostile takeover over Toei and I'm crashing out on life. Like, bro, I invested my whole life into One Piece just to have an ending that I could have written myself. No, you don't get to walk away unscathed. I don't think so. But despite all that, Mahito and Sukuna are basically in the afterlife, or what I'd like to call Jujutsu Kaisen Purgatory. Sukuna was really just living life on his own terms, and bro, you can't even be mad at him. Like, the whole world did not like this dude, and dude just decided to become a whole menace against society. Like, can you really blame him? Calling him a menace is like the equivalent to like a love tap. This guy was the spawn of the devil. He was the next coming. This guy was the worst type of human. He was the kind of kid that you just dump in the forest at night and you just pray for the very worst. Real spit. What I like about this chapter though is the fact that we get a lot of development from him, because he actually is aware that the way he was living his life isn't actually the only way he could have lived. There was other possibilities. From what I see, I think Uruume kind of represents the life he took in regards to vengeance and revenge, while the other lady, who we are we have no idea who she is. She could either be his mother or his lover.
I beg your pardon?
I ain't gonna lie to you, probably two words you don't want in the same sentence, especially in like a context like this. So let's be a little bit more open and more accepting of such circumstances. But yeah, Uncle Dad, having the self-awareness is development enough. I mean, he did catch a fade from Yuji enough to the point where he actually admitted defeat. A good ass whooping can change any person's perspective. I mean, Jiren went from like a one-man army to asking Goku out on a second date. Damn, you ever think we gonna see each other again? Like, I mean, I know we just met on one night, but I'd like to fight some more. So shut the f up. Bro had no words to say to nobody. He was talking like he was that dude. He was just like, sleep, warrior, sleep. Yeah, I'm that dude. I ain't gotta talk to nobody. But the moment that MUI came in and started to run those pockets, all of a sudden and whatnot, dude can finally talk in full sentences. Yuji, during his last conversation with Sukuna, did try to use that opportunity as a way to empathize with Sukuna in the sense of opening up his eyes to live in life from a different perspective, and at least trying to get him out of Megumi's body and whatnot. His character arc does come full circle because despite the fact that he does admit defeat, he actually does sit there and say to Mahito that perhaps in the next life, he will actually take a different path. Love, friendships, and empathy were all concepts that Yuji used to defeat Sukuna. Like, I mean, that final fight against Sukuna was a team effort. Yuji's talk no jutsu is basically on par with Naruto Uzumaki's. I just feel like Naruto be getting dogged about it a lot, because at this point in time, dude to be trying to change anybody. So Sukuna's character arc is done and dusted, and we clearly have Mahito dwelling on the past. Well, at this point in time, well, it's pretty much the end of you and the whole manga as a collective. But yeah, so Megumi might actually be a special grade, right? Hear me out. So Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara basically make a plan to suss out the culprit, and long story short, they get him. There's not even a confrontation, no fade, no nothing. They catch him just like that. Megumi uses his 10 shadows technique and he summons his pet dog, and bro went from Vulpix to Ninetales. Like, I'm not even talking Ninetales, I'm talking the Nine-tailed fox, like super size. Sukuna joyrode Megumi's body using a variety of high-level techniques, evolving his 10 shadows technique several levels higher. Like, for example, when Sukuna summoned Nue, when used by Megumi, was basically like a borderline tiny Pidgey. But then when Sukuna used it, that joint turned into a planet-sized Pidgeot, literally overwhelming the building. During Switch training, it was stated that Yuji does have the potential and the possibility of actually using advanced level techniques, because Sukuna used those techniques while he was in possession of his body. So by that logic, basically it could also be the same with Megumi. I mean, there's no difference between Megumi and Yuji, with the exceptions of the techniques that they actually use. So at this point, if Yuji's a special grade, which he definitely is, Megumi's also a special grade by default, in that line of logic. But entertainingly enough, will we ever know this for sure? Probably not. Final Megumi is probably a little bit under Yuji, or just as powerful as Yuji at this point. He definitely is within striking distance of surpassing Gojo, especially considering he's not actually there anymore. Speaking of Gojo, he's clearly done just like Gege, and not only did he articulate this, Gege articulated this also, right through Gojo. Let's break that down. Gojo's desire of wanting the next generation to actually surpass him has basically come to light, and he does have high expectations of characters like Yuji. Gege has basically had enough of Gojo to the point where Gege is actually speaking through him vicariously. The downfall of being the absolute strongest is loneliness. In addition to that, Gojo actually wants Yuji to develop a strength that surpasses that in general. He doesn't want to be the pinnacle of what's physically possible. I personally think that the strength Gojo's talking about is the strength of friendship and the strength that friends actually bring to a situation. But when you think about it, just the level of strength that they would have had if they all decided to jump Sukuna would have got cooked. Having that battle plan and having Sukuna fight everybody in one orchestrated plan just shows the strength in numbers as a collective as opposed to one individual. Remember, Gojo fought Sukuna one-on-one and he couldn't take him out. So that's just a classic example of absolute strength and solitude is there, yes, but the downfall of that is that you end up losing. And that's shown by Sukuna losing and by Gojo losing. Gojo lost because of plot, but then at the same time, Sukuna was a representation of the fact that you don't need love or relationships or friendships as a way to build that strength or to have that absolute dominating strength. And Yuji comes as the opposition that proves that, you know, having good friendships and whatnot can make things stronger than basically doing things by yourself. But either way, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the chapter anyway. This was definitely a very good anime. I definitely was not a fan of how it ended. Let's not get it twisted. The story was good. It was exciting. The final fight with Sukuna and everybody else definitely was long and a little repetitive, but I definitely enjoyed it for what it was. I think it was definitely a good way to wrap up the character arcs of Gojo and Sukuna, just to be able to complete their character arcs as a collective. In terms of what I plan to review next, Kagura Baki, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to start reading some chapters, and once I'm up to date, I'm going to start adding that to the review list. So, I mean, as of right now, I'm doing Boruto and One Piece, and you know, them two was nice. I mean, I still don't like Kawaki, but it is what it is. But yeah, either way, thanks for riding along with me this far. I might do other videos about Jujutsu Kaisen and Sukuna just as a character. That's later down the line. I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. Either way, let me know what your thoughts are on the last chapter. What did you think? Did you like the ending? Did you not like it? Well, I can't really say where the story's going next. It's over. But either way, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.